was just another ordinary morning in Texas. The sun was shining, painting the sky with those beautiful early morning colors we all love. You could hear kids laughing, their excited chatter filling the air as they waited for the big yellow school bus to pull up. Music was playing from a car radio nearby, a catchy tune that made you want to tap your feet. The bus driver, a friendly face everyone in the neighborhood knew, greeted each child with a warm smile as they climbed aboard. It felt like the start of any other perfect day. The bus pulled away from the curb, a familiar sight, carrying its precious cargo of students off to school. Everything was exactly as it should be, until it wasn't. In an instant, that ordinary morning took a turn no one could have ever predicted. Suddenly, without any warning, the bus started to shake violently. The driver's smile vanished, replaced by a look of confusion and then alarm. The cheerful music was drowned out by a loud, grinding noise coming from somewhere beneath them. The kids' laughter turned into nervous murmurs, then cries of fear as the bus swerved uncontrollably. The driver gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white, fighting to regain control, but it was no use. The bus careened off the road, heading straight for a steep embankment. The world outside the windows became a blur of green and brown. Inside, backpacks and lunchboxes went flying. It was chaos. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, the bus teetered on the edge, balanced precariously between the road and a sheer drop. Time seemed to slow down. In that terrifying moment, a local construction crew working nearby saw what was happening. Without a second's hesitation, they dropped their tools and sprinted towards the bus. Their bright yellow hard hats were like beacons of hope against the morning sky. They knew they only had seconds to act before the bus would plunge over the edge. Working together with incredible speed and strength, they formed a human chain, anchoring themselves to the bus. They shouted encouragement to the driver and the terrified children inside. It was a race against gravity, a desperate struggle of human will against a ton of metal. Every muscle strained, every person pushed to their absolute limit. They weren't just construction workers anymore. They were heroes, fighting to save the lives of children they didn't even know. Would their courage be enough? Could they hold on long enough for help to arrive? The fate of everyone on that bus hung in the balance. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories. Ever had a moment where everything changed in an instant? Picture this. You're in a bus heading out on a school trip. Everyone's laughing, joking, full of excitement. Then something goes wrong. The driver coughs, clutches his chest, and the steering wheel starts to shake violently. In just a few seconds, the driver loses control of the vehicle. The laughter turns into screams. The bus veers off the road, hurtling towards danger. It's a terrifying scene, one that plays out more often than we think. A sudden medical emergency behind the wheel can happen to anyone at any time. It could be a heart attack, a stroke, a seizure, or a diabetic emergency. When a driver is incapacitated, a vehicle becomes an unguided missile. The consequences can be catastrophic, not just for the driver, but for every passenger and everyone else on the road. Statistics show that thousands of accidents each year are caused by drivers experiencing sudden health crises. These aren't just numbers. They are real people, real families whose lives are shattered in a heartbeat. So what can we do? Awareness is the first step. Recognizing the signs of a medical emergency is crucial. For example, signs of a heart attack can include chest pain, shortness of breath, and discomfort in other areas of the upper body. Stroke symptoms can be remembered with the acronym FAST: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time to call for help. If you're a passenger and you notice a driver showing these signs, you need to act immediately. Try to get their attention, and if they're unresponsive, you might need to take control of the situation. This could mean trying to steer the vehicle to safety, applying the brakes, or calling emergency services right away. It's also vital for drivers to manage their health. Regular checkups, managing chronic conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, and never driving when you feel unwell are simple but life-saving habits. And for all of us, learning basic first aid and CPR can make you the person who saves a life instead of just a bystander. These skills are invaluable, not just on the road, but in everyday life. Let's all be more prepared, more aware, and help keep our roads safe for everyone. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more content that can make a real difference. Stay safe out there. Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a story that feels straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster, but it's 100% real. It's a story about quick thinking, immense courage, and what one person will do to save the lives of others. Imagine this. A school bus, packed with 32 students, is navigating a winding mountain road. The kids are chatting, laughing, probably just excited to be heading home. Outside, the scenery is beautiful, but the road is treacherous, with a steep, deadly drop just inches away. Suddenly, the unthinkable happens. The bus driver slumps over the wheel, unconscious. The bus, now without a driver, starts to swerve violently. Tires screech against the pavement as it picks up speed, careening directly toward the edge of the cliff. Panic erupts. The students scream, realizing the horrifying situation they're in. They are seconds away from plunging over the side. But in that moment of absolute terror, one student didn't freeze. 13-year-old Jeremy Witchick, sitting just a few rows back, saw what was happening. He didn't hesitate. He knew he had to act, and act fast. Pushing past his own fear, he sprinted to the front of the bus. He grabbed the steering wheel, desperately trying to guide the massive vehicle away from the abyss. He yanked the wheel hard, pulling the bus away from the edge just in the nick of time. But they weren't safe yet. The bus was still moving, a runaway threat on the road. Jeremy, with a clarity that's just astounding for his age, reached down and pulled the keys out of the ignition. The engine cut out, and the bus finally began to slow down, eventually rolling to a stop in the middle of the road. It was over. Silence fell for a moment, replaced by the sounds of shaken but relieved classmates. Another student, Johnny, had already started performing CPR on the unconscious driver, showing incredible composure himself. Thanks to Jeremy's split-second decision and unbelievable bravery, every single person on that bus was safe. He wasn't just a passenger. He became a hero who steered 32 of his friends away from certain tragedy. What an incredible reminder of the courage that can be found in the most unexpected moments. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more incredible true stories. See you next time. Have you ever wondered what you would do in a moment of crisis? When fear grips everyone around you, would you freeze, or would you find the courage to act? This is the story of Ethan, a 15-year-old boy who found himself in exactly that situation. Imagine a normal school day, the sound of the bell, chatter in the hallways, the familiar scent of chalk dust and old books. For Ethan and his classmates, it was just another Tuesday, until it wasn't. Suddenly, chaos erupted. Panic spread through the classroom like a wildfire, and the air grew thick with fear. Students scrambled, their faces masks of terror, their minds racing with worst-case scenarios. It's a primal human reaction to freeze or flee when faced with an overwhelming threat. And for a moment, that's what everyone did. But then something shifted. Amidst the terrified faces and the suffocating silence that followed the initial panic, Ethan, just a regular 15-year-old, looked around. He saw his friends, his classmates, paralyzed by fear. And in that moment, something inside him clicked. He knew that just waiting and hoping wouldn't be enough. In that instant, one student made a choice to act. While everyone else was looking for a hero, he decided he had to become one. Slowly, deliberately, Ethan stood up. His own heart was pounding, his palms were sweating, but a quiet resolve had settled over him. He wasn't the biggest or the strongest kid in the class. He wasn't a natural-born leader. He was just a boy who understood that inaction was the greatest danger of all. His standing up was a small gesture, but it sent a powerful ripple through the room. It was a silent declaration that they were not helpless. What followed was a testament to the power of a single act of courage. Inspired by Ethan's bravery, other students began to stir. The spell of fear was broken. They started working together, thinking clearly, and taking steps to secure their safety. Ethan's choice didn't just save himself. It empowered everyone around him. It reminds us all that true bravery isn't the absence of fear, but acting in spite of it. One person, one choice can change everything. What choice would you make? Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires. Have you ever imagined what you would do in a life or death emergency? Would you freeze or would you fight? For one man named Ethan, that hypothetical question became a terrifying reality. It was a day like any other. Ethan was on a bus heading home, lost in his own thoughts. The vehicle was packed with passengers, students, workers, elderly folks, all sharing the same ordinary journey. Suddenly, a strange sound broke the calm. The driver, a man in his 50s, slumped over the steering wheel, unconscious. The bus, now without a driver, began to swerve violently. It careened towards the opposite lane, directly into oncoming traffic. Panic erupted. Screams filled the air as people were thrown from their seats. The world outside the windows blurred into a terrifying streak of chaos. In that split second, with disaster just moments away, most people were frozen in fear. But not Ethan. Without a second thought, he sprang into action. He leaped from his seat, scrambling over luggage and stumbling passengers to get to the front. He fought the spinning wheel with all his strength, trying to save everyone. With one hand gripping the wheel, he used his other to desperately try and wake the driver, all while shouting for help. Horns blared from outside as other cars swerved to avoid a collision. The bus was a runaway giant, and Ethan was the only thing standing between dozens of lives and certain tragedy. With sheer force of will, he managed to guide the massive vehicle away from the stream of cars. His heart pounded in his chest, his muscles screamed in protest, but he refused to give up. He saw a gap, a small clearing on the side of the road. It was his only chance. He wrenched the wheel hard, aiming for the relative safety of the shoulder. The bus jolted and groaned, scraping against the guardrail with a deafening screech of metal on metal. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the vehicle shuddered to a halt. Silence fell for a moment, broken only by heavy breathing and quiet sobs, then relief. Ethan collapsed back, exhausted but victorious. He had saved everyone. Emergency services arrived to a scene that could have been so much worse. Ethan, just an ordinary man on his way home, became a hero that day, a powerful reminder that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it. Thanks for watching, and if you were inspired by this story, make sure to subscribe for more. The bus careened wildly, tires screaming against the asphalt, getting terrifyingly close to the edge of the cliff. Inside, chaos reigned. Passengers were thrown from their seats, their screams swallowed by the roar of the engine and the screech of metal. Ethan fought his way to the front, his heart pounding in his chest. The driver was slumped over the wheel, unconscious, his foot jammed on the accelerator. They were a runaway missile aimed at a sheer drop into the abyss. Ethan knew he had only seconds. The cliff's edge was rushing towards them, a horrifying promise of a final fatal plunge. He couldn't pull the driver out. There was no time. The man was wedged too tightly against the steering column. Panic surged, cold and sharp, but Ethan forced it down. He had to think. He had to act. The brake pedal, that was their only hope, but it was under the driver's lip form. With a surge of adrenaline, Ethan lunged forward. He grabbed the driver's leg, the fabric of the pants rough under his desperate grip. The bus lurched again, throwing him against the dashboard. He ignored the sharp pain that shot through his shoulder. The abyss was right there, just beyond the shattered windshield. He could see the rocks and the waves crashing far, far below. It was now or never. He braced himself, using all his strength, all his will. With seconds left before they plunged over the edge, he shoved the driver's leg with everything he had. The foot slammed down hard onto the brake pedal. The bus protested with a gut-wrenching groan. Metal ground against metal. The tires locked, smoking and shrieking as they fought for purchase on the crumbling road. The vehicle shuddered violently, skidding sideways, its front bumper hanging precariously over the void. Then, with a final deafening jolt, it stopped. Silence descended, broken only by the sound of the wind and the terrified sobs of the passengers. They were alive, inches from death. If you enjoyed this thrilling scene, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more heart-stopping action. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. The tires screech, a horrifying sound that cuts through the morning quiet. Smoke billows from the back of the school bus, thick and choking. Inside, the world is chaos. Screams, shouts, the thud of backpacks hitting the floor. The bus lurches violently, throwing everyone forward. Outside, onlookers can only watch in horror as the massive yellow vehicle slides uncontrollably toward the edge of a steep cliff. It feels like time slows down, every second stretching into an eternity of fear. The driver is slumped over the wheel, unconscious. Panic has taken over. This is it. This is the end. But then, through the smoke and the screams, a figure emerges. It's Ethan, just a high school kid, but in that moment, he's more. He shoves his way through the terrified crowd, his eyes locked on the front of the bus. He knows what he has to do. There's no time for hesitation. He grabs the emergency brake, pulling with every ounce of strength he has. The metal groans in protest. The bus shudders, skidding sideways, scraping against the guardrail with a deafening shriek of tearing metal. It feels like it's not enough. It's still moving inch by agonizing inch, closer to the drop. Then, with a final jarring jolt, it stops. The front wheels hang precariously over the abyss, just inches from disaster. A sudden, deafening silence falls over the bus, broken only by a few ragged sobs. For a moment, no one moves, no one breathes. They just stare at the empty air beyond the windshield. Then, relief washes over them in a powerful wave. Students start to cry, hugging the person next to them, their bodies trembling. They turn to Ethan, their faces a mixture of awe and gratitude. No one could believe it. He had stopped a disaster. He wasn't just a classmate anymore. He was the hero who saved them all. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories. Have you ever wondered what real courage looks like? We often picture superheroes in capes, larger-than-life figures from movies and comic books. We imagine them with incredible powers, performing impossible feats. But what if I told you that sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones you'd least expect? The ones who don't wear capes, who don't have super strength, but possess something far more powerful, the will to act when everyone else is frozen. This is the story of Ethan, a boy who found himself in an extraordinary situation. It wasn't a day he asked for, and it certainly wasn't a moment he had trained for. Reporters surround him now, cameras flashing, microphones pushed toward his face. They all want to know the same thing. How did you do it? Weren't you scared? But Ethan just looks down, a bit shy, overwhelmed by all the attention. With a quiet voice, he says, "Someone had to do something, and I was there." Just 3 simple words. I was there. In that moment, the world stopped for Ethan. Time seemed to slow down, and he saw a choice. He could have been like everyone else, a bystander, waiting for someone else to step up, waiting for the right person, the stronger person, the braver person. But in that critical moment, no one else moved. There were no heroes in sight. So Ethan became one. His words, "Someone had to do something," echo a profound truth. It's a call to action that lives inside all of us. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being terrified and still doing what needs to be done. It's about seeing a problem and deciding to be the solution, even if your hands are shaking and your heart is pounding. It's about recognizing that sometimes you are the only one in the right place at the right time. This story teaches us a powerful lesson. Courage isn't about age. It's not about size or strength. It's about doing what's right when no one else can or when no one else will. It's about that quiet internal decision to step forward. Ethan's story isn't just about one boy's incredible act. It's a reminder of the potential that lies within each of us. So the next time you find yourself in a moment where someone needs help, remember Ethan. Remember that sometimes being the hero is as simple as being there and choosing to do something. What does courage mean to you? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories. Have you ever wondered what makes a hero? Is it a cape? A superpower? We believe it's something far more profound. It's the courage to act when others hesitate. It's the firefighter running into a burning building, the teacher shielding their students, the neighbor who pulls someone from a wrecked car. These are the stories we tell. The moments that prove true strength isn't about being fearless, but about facing fear for the sake of others. These are not legends or myths. They are real people, real events, and real courage. Join us as we uncover the hidden bravery that surrounds us every day. Real heroes are ordinary people who do extraordinary things only on tailies of courage. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories.